What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Strive. I want to go over some of the data points and why you really need to add this stock to your watch list going into this upcoming week. So I want to go over all the things that you need to know, but first make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So Friday did have a very epic day, went up 17.15%, really showing a lot of signs that it wants to break out. Near the end of the video, I'll go over some of the technicals and what that does mean for this upcoming week. But getting right to it, for data points, we have a lot of big things coming out this week that could really help justify a January rate cut. And so Friday, we did see a lot of analysts kind of giving some positive optimism for tech and AI. So that's how people's appetite for risk just automatically went up. Thus, Bitcoin even breaking out of that trading range that it's been doing for the last little bit, that really helped Strive really push higher. But this upcoming week, we have a lot of big data, like I said, that could really kind of change the market's mentality for a January cut. So we've had a lot of things lately that kind of were very negative towards not getting a cut. But for instance, on Monday, we have manufacturing. Current forecast is 48. This is going to be taken for face value. So if it comes in very positive, market's going to obviously react accordingly. We did have some data on Friday, so global manufacturing came in at 51.8. So if this ISM manufacturing, which is more of a smaller control group, but if that does come in above 50, then you'll see the market very hyped up. There was one data point as well on Friday that I feel like the market didn't really price in just yet, but very good for cryptocurrency, and that's the Fed balance sheet. It came in at 6.6 trillion. So this is a very big notable jump up, and in reality that kind of justifies, and it's the whole basis why people invest in cryptocurrency. So in my opinion, I think that's going to give in among itself a pretty good push higher going into next week. But Tuesday, we don't really have too much. It's going to be more of a reflective day. Wednesday, we have ADP employment, ISM services, and JOLT numbers, all of which have at one time or another proven that it can really move the broader market. Thursday, challenger job cuts and initial jobless claims. Similarly, challenger job cuts has really moved the market many times in the past, but it's going to be Friday. Friday is going to be the massive day. So we have building permits, housing starts, non-farm payroll, and unemployment. Unemployment, this is going to be the first solid month of data, because last couple kind of included the whole shutdown. So a lot of people are going to be watching this data. But like I said, assuming everything comes in according to plan, even if it's in line with expectations, market's going to be automatically assuming that a January cut is back on the table. So all in all, pretty good stuff. There really hasn't been that much associated to Strive recently, so it's been at the mercy of the broader market. But there's a couple main reasons why I think people will want Strive to move higher. One is they don't want, obviously, to be delisted. And so far, it's been 15 consecutive days below $1. If a company is below $1 for 30, then they are NASDAQ deficient and not a good scenario. So that in among itself is a good justified reason that investors will want to push Strive higher above $1. Technicals kind of signal that we're going to be seeing a explosive kind of push higher as well. So I'll kind of talk on that, like I said. But shorts have been honestly taking advantage of just a scenario, and we are going into this upcoming week with all-time high short interest numbers. Despite it going up 17+% on Friday, shorts increased 1.03 million shares. 42.7% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 175 million shares overall being shorted. So they, I think, got a little bit too greedy and they put themselves in a very sticky scenario, and that could really burn them going into this upcoming week. Regarding options, you actually see some optimism for it to be above or between that 1 to 150, and then for it to be above 2 for the week ending January the 16th. Bears are anticipating not really much activity, in all fairness. Sub dollar, that's pretty much it. But with it closing at 86 cents, it is trading between this R1 and the pivot. So for those of you that want to day trade, quickly swing trade, you have 85 cents and 79 cents. followed by 76 as support levels. Flip side, you have 90, 93, and 99. So 99, that's going to be, if shorts have anything left, that's going to be their last line in the sand, because shorts want this stock to be deficient. They don't want it to be above $1. So they're going to throw everything they have at this point. But in my opinion, oddly enough, we actually might be seeing that level for this upcoming week. So quickly popping back over here based on the technicals. So I'm looking at the 1-day chart quickly. So this is really showing a lot of good signs that it wants to kind of break out. And so it is above all the key kind of moving averages here. But this isn't the exciting part. Looking over at the daily, even though this looks pretty much dead, unfortunately, which in reality, I'm not here to pump you up. I'm not here to bring you down. If I see bullish stuff, I bring it up. If I see bearish stuff, I bring it up. It's been a while since I've done a Strive video on a side note, but what happened on Friday was the first time that it actually did have this explosive breakout since pretty much October. And we all know what happened at that stage when it kind of went from about 70 cents or 77 cents to a high of 181. And even last time I did catch on very early, and I think it was at 90 cents. I posted on my Patreon that this was a good buy. And to be honest, after this video, I'm going to be doing a post about this on how hypothetically it could really have another explosive push higher. Do I think that it's going to get back to these levels where it was $12 back in September? Most likely not. Not this time around. I think we need confirmed actual rate cuts and kind of a lot of more macro clarity in reality. But nonetheless, we could definitely make some very good money. It could have another explosive kind of push higher from that. So yeah, I think overall, a couple levels to watch for is going to be this 50-day moving average, and that is sitting at 106. So like I said, 99 cents, this is where shorts will throw everything they have at it. And anything above that, so between that 99 cents and 106 and potentially higher than that, this is where you could be starting to see short squeezes. So yeah, exciting times are ahead. So let me know your general thoughts on that. Looking at the market position quickly, so you do see some willing sellers roughly between that where it is now and about $1.15, and then some grouping between 130 and 150. If it's able to get above those fairly early on in the week, then this is where you could see some explosive push higher, because there's not really much for willing sellers above that $1.74. But generally, once it does get above that 50-day moving average, this is where things get very real very, very fast. Last time it did get above that 50-day moving average was August of 2025. So big things might be coming. Let me know your general thoughts. Are you optimistic? Are you buying? Are you selling? Like, what's your general thoughts on this stock? One final thing, like I mentioned, I do put out a lot of solid on-point buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, such as even yours truly. So pop over to my Stacked account or even my Patreon. I have two of them, so definitely worthwhile to pop over there and check that out. Put out massive bangers. Worthwhile to check that out. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.